Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy. Our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before. Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, 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 you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. And as time goes by, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern-day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love.
I'll just end with this. I would rather stick forks in my eyes than be here tonight to listen to Donald Trump talk about the State of the Union.
Every last one of those elected officials that didn't stand up when Trump said that if you agree with this statement, that my job as an elected official is to protect American citizens first, not illegal immigrants. Every last one of those people that refuse to stand up needs to lose their jobs, lose their seats, lose them immediately. There is no excuse for that. There is absolutely zero excuse for not wanting to defend American citizens first and prioritize American citizens over illegal immigrants. And who is Ilhan Omar thinking she is to yell at the president of the United States? Like, lady, you ain't even got 4 grandparents that live in this country. Like this. And you want to get mad at him for talking about the Somali fraud that's going on in Minnesota? That's your kind. That's you literally prioritize your own people over American citizens, and then you want to get mad at the president for prioritizing his people over illegals. That is the literal type of BS that I'm talking about. That is literally the problem. But you don't want to. We act like we don't want to recognize that. Like when the truth is right there, blatantly in your face, the truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but at the end, there it is. And anybody that continues to vote for these people, you are the problem. You dig.
The disrespect from the Democrats at the State of the Union address last night was absolutely disgusting to me. The fact that they could not stand up and honor citizens of America should let us know that they don't care about us. The fact that they could not stand up and honor heroes of America lets you know that they absolutely don't give a damn. The fact that they did not stand up to honor victims from the illegal aliens that they allowed inside of America lets us know that they care more about the illegal immigrants than they care about the American people. The fact that Ilhan Omar sat in that audience and showed so much disrespect towards the president of the United States in a country that she don't even belong in was the icing on the cake for me. These people has not taken accountability. They will never take accountability for their role that they played in destroying this country. They sat on that TV last night and showed all of America exactly who they were. They literally exposed themselves, and we better believe it. If we do not get out in these midterms, y'all, and vote red, America is going to be in trouble. Y'all, is on us now.
Donald Trump, when he asked the question about cheering and asking about protecting American citizens and prioritizing them ahead of migrants, he set you up. He knew you weren't going to stand. He knew 73 of y'all were going to show up to other places and not show up to the State of the Union. He knew that a lot of Americans that were moderates on both sides of the aisle were going to look at y'all as being every bit as out of control as you claim he is. The difference is that he takes those positions and the heat that comes with it as the incumbent, the president in office. You couldn't keep him out. And he's making the claim that you hate him so much, you're devoid of objectivity, and you're devoid of thinking about what's in the best interest of the United States of America because you're too busy thinking about your own personal feelings and animus towards him. And every time you do that, he smiles and mocks you and has a field day. You played right into his hand. Don't come back at me and say F Stephen A. Smith or Stephen A. Smith is selling out or Stephen A. Smith is this way or that way. I'm just telling you what it is. Don't kill a messenger. Shape the message in a fashion that benefits you for once. The man has been playing y'all like a fiddle for 11 years now, and you still can't beat him. Damn! You keep falling right into his hands. And it's a damn shame. It truly, truly is.
I don't care what side you represent. To see sitting members of Congress refuse to stand after President Trump said, "Stand if you believe the American government should prioritize American citizens over illegal aliens," to see sitting members of Congress who American citizens put in office not stand, that should tell you something. That's problematic. I'm an educator. If someone said, "Stand, educators, if you prioritize the students," if I refuse to stand, then why am I even in education? That was a sick, sick move. And you know what? They try to pin everything as, "Oh, well, we didn't stand." I forgot which representative it was that I seen her on the news. We didn't stand because we know that there was just underlying racist messaging with that. Here's the thing. I'm so tired of y'all with this racist message. It's so lazy. At the beginning of the State of the Union, he emphasized the difference between legal and illegal immigration. And here's the thing. Some of y'all just lack comprehension skills. Maybe you didn't do so well in your reading classes, because the thing is, you cannot sit here and call something racist or say this man is anti-immigrant when he emphasized at the beginning of his speech, at the beginning of the State of the Union, that yes, we welcome immigrants who are doing it the right way. And for y'all to try to combine it to make it seem like he is anti-immigrant, it's lazy, and you lack comprehension.
The world finally got to see the true Democratic Party at its best. We can't even, listen, let's just call it for what it is. We can't even call it the Democratic Party anymore here in the United States. It's the Socialist Party of America. Listen, after what they did last night, if this does not wake you up as an American, I don't care what side of the aisle you sit on, they told you without even opening their fucking mouth who their allegiance is to and how they truly feel about the American citizen, let alone America. They hate America. They hate the American way of life. They're pro-criminal, anti-American law, pro-legal alien, and everything else comes last. Now listen, we all know that there's good and bad on both sides of the aisle. It is what it is, right? We all know President Trump has his faults. He's not, listen, he does shit, okay, that I question and that many of us question, okay? But what he did last night, he was one of the best fishermen I have ever seen. He put the bait out there perfectly and he fucking hooked them. Listen, it couldn't have been done any better than that. When you, in front of the world, put it out there, if you believe that American citizens come before anyone else, please stand up. What happened on the other side of the aisle? These anti-American pieces of garbage, not all of them, but the majority of them, sat on their fucking hands between their legs and underneath their fat asses and let not only the United States people know, the world, how much they hate America. If you are ever on the fence about what their true intentions are, this should really wake you up.
Donald Trump is the greatest Democrat troll of all time. And I love to see it because they cannot stand it. They literally could not function last night at the State of the Union address.
The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in. That's the first time I've ever seen them get up. And actually, not all of them did get up.
That was a really cool moment for the U.S. hockey team, I'm not going to lie. But then, of course, there's more of this.
If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself.
They're not ashamed. Democrats are never ashamed of not standing up for Americans. And if you ever really want to know where Democrats stand on things, just watch things like this. Because Ilhan Omar was quiet the whole time until Donald Trump started talking about fraud and taking away her bread and butter. And she lost her ever-loving mind. But this was my favorite part.
As we ensure that all Americans can profit from a rising stock market, let's also ensure that members of Congress cannot corruptly profit from using insider information. They stood up for that. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Did Nancy Pelosi stand up if she's here? Doubt it. Pass the Stop Insider Trading Act without delay.
And y'all know that old bat is sitting in the back just fuming because he said that. I thought it was a great State of the Union. There were some points where Democrats did stand. I will say there was a lot of standing and sitting. I don't know that I would participate in all that either, but I like what he had to say. I like the stats. I like the numbers. I like where we're going. So, you know what? Stay mad about it. Y'all, anything that has to do with Donald Trump, y'all gonna hate on anyway because y'all just love the taste of that man in your mouth. So, stay mad, and we gonna stay winning.
I just finished watching the State of the Union, and all of the Democrats that remained in their seats when our president said that he is putting the American people over illegal immigrants, it would behoove you to remember who pays your fucking salary. That would be the American people. So that's who you should be trying to protect. And I was so pissed off that Ilhan Omar kept just getting to yell out over and over again while our president was talking. It's rude. They should have kicked her ass out just like they did the other dude at the beginning.
Last night's State of the Union showed us exactly where this country stands and who refuses to stand for it. 70 Democrats didn't even show up. Why? So President Trump couldn't use their faces in campaign ads. Think about that. They were more worried about optics than about honoring America. But it gets worse. They would not stand for a 100-year-old Korean War hero, a man who fought for our freedom. They would not stand for an 11-year-old girl nearly killed by an illegal driving a semi-truck. They would not stand for USA Hockey winning gold, our flag raised, our anthem playing. They would not stand for 2 National Guardsmen, one shot in the head by a terrorist. They would not stand for a Coast Guard hero who rescued young girls during the catastrophic floods here in Texas. Let me say that again. They would not stand for American heroes. This isn't about party anymore. This is about basic respect, about honoring sacrifice, about recognizing courage, about loving your country enough to applaud its victories and its defenders. Instead, we got shouting, we got theatrics, we got political bitterness so deep they can't even rise to their feet for a century-old veteran or a wounded guardsman. America is exhausted. We are tired of leaders who can't separate politics from patriotism. We are tired of the constant outrage machine, and we are tired of watching heroes used as backdrops for partisan games. At Red, White, and Blonde, we stand for the veteran, for the child, for the first responder, for the flag, and yes, for Team USA. If you can't stand for them, what exactly are you standing for? That's the real State of the Union. I am Maureen Enner. This is Red, White, and Blonde. Stay sassy.
That was quite the speech, wasn't it? Let me start off by saying something very clearly. If you have any degree of common sense, if you have the ability to think critically and use logic, the only conclusion you can draw from tonight's State of the Union address is that the modern radical Democrat Party hates America. And I do not say that lightly. I wish I could say I was surprised. I wish I could say I can't believe they didn't stand up for X reason, Y reason, Z reason. Trump literally gave them the opportunity to stand up and admit that one of the roles of government, one of the biggest roles of government, is to protect American citizens. And what did they do? They sat on their hands like they are known to do, like they have continued to do. Every time they have had power, they have allowed individuals to run roughshod over the average American and dare you to call them out on it. One of the best things he did was actually call them out and allow individuals to see this contrast for themselves, because all too often you'll see leftists engage in this weird war of words, right, where they try to couch or phrase things differently to make it appear more palatable. They are masters at this. This is one of the hallmarks of cultural Marxism, is trying to change the definitions of things, trying to make things sound more appealing to the average everyday person, right? But you're going to sit there now and tell me that Democrats could not be bothered to stand up and admit that their job is to protect American citizens, particularly over illegal immigrants. They can't do that, right? They won't stand up for the 5-year-old girl who almost lost her life at the hands of an illegal immigrant who was given a driver's license here in this country. They consistently prove to you time and time again that the last thing they care about is the average everyday American. And yet they think that they are entitled to walk these halls of power. They think that they should be allowed to form and create these rules and these laws. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that the State of the Union address has not devolved into a little bit of political theater. I mean, it started off with Al Green, literally the festering boil on Houston, Texas, showing up with the sign that said black people aren't apes. Who told you that they were apes in the first place, Al Green? Let me ask you that question. But honestly, Al Green, ironically enough, is probably the strongest argument against the statement he even made this evening. But I digress. These people are not serious. These people do not care about you. And these people will prove to you time and time again that all they want to do is stand against American progress. They cannot be bothered to put your needs first. And they pretend that they care about America at all. It's almost as if, you know, it's like if you would imagine a vampire being forced to hold a cross. That's them holding American flags. I tuned in before the speech actually started, and there was some State of the Swamp event that they were holding, right? Of course, it was attended by the usual suspects like Mark Ruffalo was there and a couple others. He literally had, I think it was Maxine Dexter. She's one of the crazed individuals from Portland, Oregon. I cannot make this up to you. She literally had individuals behind her in inflatable frog costumes. And they're pretending that they're foot soldiers on the front lines of some imaginary war that they made up, right? Because to them, and you saw Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, a few others, you saw them very blatantly prove they don't care about Americans. They really do think they're the good guys. I don't know how you master the art of mental gymnastics to this degree that you sit there yelling at the president when the president is telling you how he's literally had to undo much of what you did. And let's make no mistake, the average leftist always seems to forget this, but this is probably one of the biggest overarching themes they need to grapple with. All they had to do was let Trump win in 2020, the election that he actually won that was stolen from him. If they just let him win, they wouldn't be dealing with this right now. But they couldn't help themselves. They had to sit down. How can we stop the counting in these few swing states and get Biden in there and then literally throw open the doors at the southern border and let all these people in, right? And allow American citizens to lose their lives because we are prioritizing illegal immigrants. Trump went so far as to even classify fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction and has talked about how it has contributed to the average American's lives, losing their lives. Talking about young women. You know, this is the party that claims to be all for women, right? Oh, we care about women so much, believe all women, right? But then they're going to let these individuals in who actually cause young American women to lose their lives. And they sit there with a straight face and dare you to call them out on it. These people are evil. These people are morally bankrupt. These people will not stop until they have completely gotten you under their government boot. And what's funny is they're going to sit there now. They would watch this video, right? And they would call me the bootlicker, right? That's what they do. They've perverted the English language to such a degree that individuals who actually stand up for common sense are now deemed radicals by their side. These people are shameless. These people will exploit you. This is not what the founding fathers ever intended. You know, I think the strong case can always be made for term limits, but one of the most poignant lines of Trump's speech was the fact that barely one generation, one lifetime, separated the individuals who were awarded with various awards this evening, even the 100-year-old gentleman who got the presidential, I believe it was the Medal of Freedom. So when he was born, basically one generation before him was when Thomas Jefferson, the founding fathers, were here setting this country on its course. I cannot help but think that the founding fathers would be so disappointed. They would be flabbergasted that here we sit just a couple generations after they set this all in motion. They literally went to war and fought for liberation over a 2% tax. And let me tell you what, now we have Democrats finding new ways to tax you. I feel like we are so close to even like far-flung liberal areas taxing you to breathe. They're already going to tax you in some cases for the number of miles that you drive. This governmental overreach has become so normalized. It's honestly disconcerting. And like I said before, all they had to do was let Trump win. They'd be talking about something else altogether. But they essentially have painted themselves into a corner. And what we need to do is remember these poignant moments. Trump gave them multiple opportunities to literally just stand up for common sense. But it kind of makes sense when you think about it. If these people can't even acknowledge what a man and a woman is and can't even agree that women should not be propagandized and be made to think they are different gender, if that they shouldn't allow boys in girls' locker rooms, that boys in Minnesota don't need tampons in the school restrooms at the age of 5, 6 years old, when this has become what you are, then of course, common sense feels like an affront, doesn't it? You cannot find common ground with these kinds of people. It's a shame that throughout the course of just my lifetime, I've seen us completely swing from logic to complete illogicality under the guise of caring for other individuals, right? And if you had told me 15, 20 years ago, you know what, Damani, this is what's going to be, this is what you're going to come up against in 2026, I would have told you there is no way. If you told me I would have been live streaming after a State of the Union address, I would have been like, no, I won't. But we are called to speak up and speak out against that which is morally reprehensible. And this, to me, what I just watched is far and away more important than the Super Bowl, than the Super Bowl halftime show, anything else. Because you know why? The individuals who I saw sitting down and refusing to cheer for common sense and stand up for common sense protecting American citizens, you know what that affects? That affects my now 2-year-old daughter's opportunity to have a future in this country. And let me tell you, nothing lights a fire in me more than seeing individuals who would literally put her in harm's way just so they can check a few boxes on the social justice totem pole. There will be no quarter with these kinds of people. And I hope, if anything else you took away from today, I hope it's this. These people took that mask off. They are showing you exactly who they are. All you have to do now is believe them. I don't care if you're looking at Ilhan Omar, if you're looking at Rashida Tlaib, if you're looking at Sidney Blumenthal, if you're looking at Nancy Pelosi, looking at Ayanna Pressley, looking at Nancy Pelosi, looking at even individuals on our side of the aisle who don't have any common sense. Because this is on both sides of the aisle, mind you. There is an elite select class of people who can only continue their assault on what it means to be American if we allow them to. So the responsibility really falls to me and you. How are we going to internalize this? And how can we remember this in a world where we are bombarded with news 24/7 that is intended to make us forget these visceral, viral moments, these affronts to everything that it is to be an American? Can we stay focused through all the noise and remember exactly what the stakes are and who our true enemies are? Because the founding fathers were prescient when they realized that one day may come we would have to defend ourselves against enemies, foreign and domestic. But I do not think they thought the domestic enemies would be sitting right here so soon. Those are my thoughts on the State of the Union address. I'm curious what yours might be. Let me know in the comment section down below. I am continuing to pray for this country. I pray for our president. I even pray for leaders that I disagree with. Because you know what? If they are allowed to be successful, the entire country fails. That means even people who have the best intents at heart for this country and for its citizens. So I would ask you, if you find it within yourself later this evening and throughout the next few days, weeks, months, and years, continue to pray for our leaders. Pray for mercy in the face of this shocking evil, and pray for grace and pray for deliverance from these dark forces who are hell-bent on the destruction of America, the West, and the entire world, as it were. Those are my thoughts. Hopefully you agree. If you do, let me know in the comment section down below. But thank you so much for tuning in. I love you all. I appreciate you all. And I'll catch you in the next one.